Okay, so I'm gonna really quickly go over two ways that you could do your Pythagorean spiral if you do have a ruler or if you don't have a ruler. So I'm just gonna start with finding a nice point on the paper, right? So the way the spiral is shaped, we don't have to get too precise about where we put this point. Just put it somewhere in this area. So I'm gonna put mine right here. And what I want to do with this is I actually want to create a right angle. So where this point is, I'm going to do it without the ruler. I'm going to put this angle here and make sure, right? Make sure you're using the square. And let's create a right angle. So because this side is 0.5, right? This is not a perfect square. So when I'm starting it, I want to make sure this side is going to be exactly the same as this side. So I'm keeping it lined up. I'm lining it up to make sure it's a right angle. Make sure that's lined up perfectly there so that we know we have a right angle. And I'm going all the way to the edge, right? I'm going all the way to the edge. So that's my perfect right angle there, right? You can see it fits perfectly. And they're the same size, right? So now you could take any straight edge from that and draw your hypotenuse. Doesn't matter what the length is here. This is what you're going to figure out with the Pythagorean theorem. So we know this is 0.5 inches. This is 0.5 inches. And then we'll use our Pythagorean theorem to figure this out. Remember that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So this is my a and b, 0.5. Okay, and you figure out what C is. Cool. Now, this is just going through the drawing of the triangle. How do I get my next triangle here? So I'm going to go back to this little piece of paper that I have. I'm focusing mainly on this side. I want to make sure I have a right angle. So I'm going to line this side up. And every time I'm using this side, 0.5, every time I draw my triangle, it has to be exactly 0.5. So you're going to line up your right angle to make sure here is exactly right angle to that side. Now we can take any straight edge and connect it. We could take any straight edge and connect it. All right? So we know this side is going to be whatever that value is. This is always going to be 0.5, and that's why I filled that in. And then you have to figure out what this hypotenuse is. Let's do it again. And remember, this is my right angle. This is my right angle here. Looks kind of bad. Cool. Let's do that again. I marked this angle here so that I know this is the side that I always want to use to make that right angle. So I drew it, right? There. Cool. I'm glad that fit. Oh, wait. So do you see how this is kind of off, right? So that was kind of a mistake. You want to make sure it's exactly lined up so that you have a perfect right angle, okay? So we're going to make sure that's exactly lined up so that we have a perfect right angle. And every time we start a new triangle, we're using this 0.5 length. Then I'm going to move this out of my way and create it and draw this hypotenuse. Again, it doesn't matter. You will figure out this exact length using your Pythagorean theorem. And here is the right angle. Okay? Let us continue. We're going to continue trying to find, let's just continue with that. So again, right angle goes here. Make sure it's exactly lined up. All I did was take a little tiny Post-it, cut it into a piece. This is 0.5. Line it up. Draw that line. Don't make it too short. Don't make it too long. Make it exactly 0.5 here. Move it out of the way. And each time you draw a new triangle, you should be doing the Pythagorean theorem every time you do a new triangle because you want to figure out what is the length of this hypotenuse. You see the side is getting longer and longer every time. So you want to see how does the length change. Okay, then we're going to connect that perfectly. Here is my right angle. Let's go back to my piece of paper. Mr. Gold also used a piece of paper. So Here we go. Lining up that side so that is a perfect right angle, right? And then I could essentially just draw it in there, right? How I've been doing it. We're gonna draw that line straight. Move it out of the way. You see, I'm not really moving. I'm not gonna take this paper and turn it as I'm moving it to the, when I push it to the side to draw my hypotenuse, I'm just gonna push it slightly so that I know I'm just putting it back. And it might get difficult, like, oh wait, hold on, which side, which corner, right? So this is why I'm just keeping it exactly like that. Exactly like that. And then it's gonna keep going around. As you go around, it's going around. So don't twist it around too much to confuse yourself. But if you follow the right angles, right, then you'll see how it goes. So here we go. Here we go. Draw the line. Cool. Again, now we have this side of the triangle that I'm using. So again, I just pick it up, line it up. The right angle should follow the pattern. I think it helps if you actually draw the right angle on your little sheet of paper that you're going to use. And then you have your, ooh, make sure it's exactly on the corner. Exactly on the corner. You want this to be as perfect as possible. Nothing is perfect, so we can get as close to it as we possibly can. Here we go. Draw that line. Draw that line. You can do it like this, see? Boop, and move and put your right angle there. Let's connect. Let's connect. Here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna end the thing there. What you're gonna do for each triangle, you are going to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out these sides. How long do they go, right? How long do they get? You're gonna show your work on a separate sheet of paper. And what you can also do for extra credit, as I was saying, is you could do another one. So let's say we wanna make a smaller one. I'm just gonna cut this in half, just to show you guys what that might look like. If I wanted to make a smaller one, let's try and make this as perfect as possible. I have a little bit of OCD, so yeah, I'm just gonna cut this in half, really tiny. So what would it look like if you wanted to do the extra credit and make smaller ones? So we wanna start over here, right? We have our side that we're using. And we want to make sure that they're both the same size. So let's line it up perfectly here so that they're both the exact same length. And we know it's a right angle because it lines up to the corner of the paper, okay? Now we can draw our hypotenuse. I'm just gonna use this. So we can draw the hypotenuse here. Oops, let's make it as perfect as possible. Here's our hypotenuse, cool. So now I'm gonna continue, right? Here's my right angle. Right angle's got to line up. Here we go. Line that up and use your marker. Use your marker. There's your right angle. Here we go. This hypotenuse is getting longer. This is what I was saying. You can draw more of them, right, on one page, more than just one. So this should be about half the size as the one above. Okay, here, and then draw your marker, use your marker to get it exact. And all right, gotta go switch to my ruler. This hypotenuse is getting kind of long. Cool. Bring it here, line it up, line it up. Make sure it's an exact perfect right angle here. Cool. And this could be any straight edge. Do you see I'm not using this for the measurements at all? I'm not using this for the measurements at all. So I'm just using it to make sure I have a straight line. And I'll do one more, making sure it's lined up perfectly in the corners there so that I can hit this corner and create that right angle. Here's my last spiral. I did about the same amount of triangles for each. Cool. And again, these are the right angles. And how you can check is, I would say, right? Take your right angle and make sure it fits perfectly inside of each triangle. Does that fit perfectly? Cool. Does that fit perfectly here? Amazing. Right? Because this is what I used. Of course it should fit. I used that to draw it out. Same over here. Take a look. Even though this is smaller, you have this fitting perfectly in that corner. It fits perfectly in this corner. It fits perfectly in this corner. And so on and so forth. Okay, guys, so I hope this video was helpful. This is a really cool project. For extra credit, you can do multiple, or you could just keep one and then draw decorations and things around it. Okay? Bye-bye.